I was thinking early in the morning and I said, oh, I must talk about this so that the things will become clear. COVID is outside virus. When it enters into the body, it remains. It is not going anywhere. It made this body home. And there are hundreds of viruses and bacteria are present in the body. The moment they enter into the body, they make this body home. So we have already heard many variant. Many variant. So we take vaccine to prevent the unwanted spread so that this we will not die. Otherwise, the body virus will remain in the body. And now we have Omicron, another variant.
Yeah.
So it simply means that maybe the present vaccine is not able to prevent because it cannot recognize. It cannot recognize this modification. Modification of virus. Am I teaching you about virus? No. So Omicron is understood as a deadly virus. We don't know, we don't see it. Prevention is there, the mask, and still it can enter. Pay attention, you have to contemplate and reflect. There is much more deadly virus that enters into our mind. When it enters, it undergoes many modifications, and we are not able to realize it because of delusion, and that is why we suffer. And this deadly virus is the world outside that enters into my mind. Causes the three diseases: attachment, detachment, sorrow, suffering, and delusion. You drop one attachment, the mind picks up another. Oh, what do you mean? Should I not work in the office? Should I not earn money? That's how I'm paying you? Another attachment. I did not say this. No, but after all, we have to live with our family. Who says you don't live with the family? You see, these thoughts are different modifications of the virus, that is, word that enters into the mind. It does not leave the mind. Are you getting it? This word enters into the mind, and then my perception changes. I see a beautiful girl yesterday. Now my perception changed. Now she is my wife. Perception modification. And that modification, then I have a relationship. So I have a relationship of pleasure, another modification. Then after a few weeks and months, I'm done with it. Enough is enough. Pleasure is another modification. Enough is another modification. And this mind continuously lives in ignorance. We don't have time even for 5 minutes that let me drop this world completely. Completely. It's a foreign element for the mind. The world is foreign. World is alien. The world is alien to the mind. So we build our relationship. Then the relationship is based on pleasure or pain, attachment, detachment, and sorrow and the suffering. And now understand that it is a foreign element. The world entered into my mind, but then the mind takes the interest and it does not want to leave. It does not want to. So when it does not want to leave, I have to suffer. It's a foreign element. World is not me. I'm not the world. I'm not the virus. Virus is not me. So maybe the scientists are thinking we will have another booster. So, booster that can prevent this COVID virus. Who knows? There may be another variant. So, when our masters are talking about it, the moment I perceive the world as a means for my pleasure, for my pain, I'm gone. Virus has started affecting me. I will try to rationalize. I will do everything to rationalize. But I want to keep this world within my mind. That is the basic problem. You start thinking in this way.
But it's only things which I know.
Hmm?
This world and this thinking, it's only things which I know. We are attached to the things outside because we think that it is world. It is what only what we have.
That is one problem that we see that this is the only world we see. But at the same time, the delusion is there. What is that delusion? My eyes have a range. It cannot see very close, it cannot see very far. Same thing with the ears, same thing with the five sense organs, same thing with the mind. I don't want to see beyond it. Why I don't want to see? Because pleasure principle. Expectation is there. Attachment is there. Why there is an expectation? Because if I have an expectation, I feel expectation will give me the pleasure. My expectations are not met, so there is a pain. But the mind does not want to leave the world to see the reality. Are you getting it? Think of this. Let me think.
But this logic is not perfect because mind.
Yeah, yeah.
What it means, mind don't want go to see other direction. Mind not able because there is no sense organ which able to see the alternative reality like real self. So mind not able to see the real self because mind in secondary too. So it's not.
So, Master puts another logic here that why you rely so heavily on the instruments that does not give you the reality. Think of this. My sense organ cannot help me to see the reality. It is they are limited. Because they are limited, that is causing the attachment, detachment, sorrow, suffering, and delusion. That is the logic. So it takes you to another dimension. COVID virus. Symptoms. Hmm? They enter into the body, they don't want to leave. By any chance, if it happens that this virus is totally removed from the body, do you need vaccine?
No.
So at least until today, the science cannot do this. Now apply the same logic. Is it possible to at least, in order to see the reality, let this world be totally thrown out from the mind? That is what the meditation is. That is what Buddha says, mindfulness. That is what the emptiness. But emptiness has to be with reference to something in the world.
But mind is a child of real self and world outside. So there is no anything external objects. We don't need mind. Mind.
Viveka and Vairagya keeps your mind empty. Finished. You have a right knowledge that filters out that this is not me, this is the world. And the dispassion helps you to remain detached. In dispassion. Now, I'm just trying to make you understand what is the importance of this Viveka and Vairagya. So Vairagya does not mean that I have to, no, I am not attached to you, my honey, get out of my house. No, we are not doing that. We are not changing anything in the world. My perception has changed. It is my perception has changed. I have thrown the word that has entered into my mind. That mind is a mirror. It reflects the real self, and I'm here and now, living every moment in the real self. Did you get it? Let me see that this mind should not allow entry to the world even for a minute. It allows the entry through the thoughts, feeling, images. Primary is the thought. Thought is equal to object plus knowledge, object plus I. Every thought, any thought, contains an object plus I, and that object pertains to the world. See how easy meditation. How easy it is. Any thought comes, so I see the object. Oh, this is an object. No attachment, I'm suffering. Suffering? Where is suffering? Because my expectations are not met, that is why I am suffering. My expectation belongs to the world. Otherwise, the suffering does not exist. Come on. Pain does not exist. Sadness does not exist. Where they exist? Tell me. I don't see the virus, so I can say virus does not exist. Do you see that? The mind constantly manipulates. That is why We have so much of stress. Oh, this is an impure mind, this is pure mind, this is what you have to do, understand it. And at every point in our life, the moment we wake up in the morning until we sleep, the world has entered into the mind. It creates millions of variants of this virus. A single virus, single variant in the mind makes me forget the real self. Otherwise, the real self is always here. Are you not in peace and happiness now? Just now. I'm talking of now. Now. Here and now. The moment the mind says but, it goes either to the past or it is going to the future. Another variant. It's a very subtle variant. That is why we have to learn from. It is here and now. Anything, I'm simply focused in a different way on the chapter 6 of Gita. Whatever we have achieved in the world, achievement means
Knowledge, an external object.
see. So that I'm already in delusion. Okay, I have achieved what? $1 million. Is it outside or inside? I'm married. Is it outside or inside? No, I have 5 kids. Is it outside or inside? So the virus that is attachment is there. And that virus creates another variant, sorrow and suffering. That creates another variant, delusion. So the moment I have started with one delusion, it will create another delusion. Are you getting it? So until this mind, through understanding, realizes that emotional dependence on anything in the world will keep my mind crazy. I cannot control my mind. That is the source of variant. One variant, second. Oh, what do you mean? So should I give all the money? What money is lying in my bank? No, I'm not saying that. You're going in a wrong direction. Wrong direction. No, should I leave my wife? No. So we try to think a wrong dispassion. It's a wrong dispassion. Negative dispassion. Negative dispassion will not work. You already know that we can see the virus through the electron microscope, but we cannot see this attachment. Problem is this. We enter into it and we don't see it. We enter. If I lose everything, what will happen? Nothing will happen. Anyhow, one day we have to lose everything. One day we have to, the mind must live in that awareness. Think of this. I'm going totally in a different direction. from the Upanishad. Upanishad are the highest teachings. No, no doubt. Even Gita is also known as Upanishad. But it is very easy for me to solve the immediate physical problem. I am hungry, let me eat food. Oh, I have a pain in the neck, let me get the treatment. Easy. You have a pain in the neck and you go to the doctor, you say, give me vaccine. Mismatch. So the physical problem, there is a way to solve it on which we have to depend heavily on the world outside for food, shelter, clothes, home, etc., etc. And that is not causing any problem. That's not causing any problem. So I suffer from fundamental problem. What is that fundamental problem? Fundamental problem of suffering. And the suffering lives in the mind. Because of the first variant, that is attachment and detachment and expectation. And that results into third variant, delusion. So that is why the master says, no, you have to listen to the teacher again and again and again and again until you find, yes, you got it. So simple conclusion, as you are saying, it is not a good logic. So why it is not a good logic? Our conclusion that we are the body, then it is not a good logic. See that? See, I thought better to come later, what you said. So when my conclusion in delusion is that I am the body, then we are gone. Then sex, authority, money, wealth, pleasure, and etc. Then I see the world as a means of pleasure. And when I see the world as a means of pleasure, then we are already suffering from this COVID. Vaccine is not affecting me. Means the Viveka is not there. Booster is Vairagya and vaccine is knowledge. So when we have this virus, just check how the mind works. My master used to say that this mind meditates on others, not on the real self, even after we have a knowledge. Do you have a project to earn 10 millions? Yes. Do you see 10 millions now? No. But still you focus on it. Huh? Your work, your physical, mental, etc. All the activities are working in that. That's a normal understanding. When I wake up, my mind does not even think of the real self because it meditates on the others. That means it meditates on the world, why the world is present in my mind. What is happening to the mind, where the mind is going. If the mind is not going anywhere, for a few seconds we have understood, oh yes. The mind wakes up in the morning and faces the world outside. The world is full of billions of people, billions of objects, and we have an agenda, hundreds of agenda. It mind, I do not ask my mind where you were just before I woke up. Let me go there. Nothing is there. We don't do that. That is why we say we have to wake up in the morning doing some mantra meditation. You see that in our tradition, we talk about that you have to wake up 3 hours before the sunrise. No, we are not going to. Once we have a right knowledge, we can wake up anytime. But it doesn't mean that I wake up 12 in the afternoon. So that is another delusion. That is another variant that is working in my life. See that? So what happens to this mind? We have to live into that awareness. When we wake up in the morning, we face to the world, and then the mind says, I give more value to you, the world. You have to give me happiness, at least today. And that today never comes. Yesterday we had a fight. In the evening we compromised. Today in the morning I wake up, so I hug my honey and I see that everything I got it. But the next moment again, anything. Honey means wealth or anything. In delusion, we give too much importance to the word that has entered into my mind as a virus. Can you tell me any object or any person, dearest and nearest to you? Take person also and the objects. Do they chase you? Our honey is very busy in doing the stuff, and when you go back home, honey, I love you. I was thinking about you. Really? Come on. Really? Really? You were busy in your own things. See the attachment. It doesn't mean that you should hit the honey. I know what you were doing. No. Oh, yeah, that's good. I was also thinking about you. What it means, I don't allow the virus to affect me. You are here and now. Another variant of virus that prevents me to meditate. This is one aspect. You have to think a lot. So the more you think, when I start contemplating and reflecting, eyes are open, the mind remains totally silent. It perceives everything. It perceives everything as it is finished. Another problem, what happens to the mind? That is why you see that is why we have a lot of principles to make us understand. The mind creates a thought pattern after learning these principles and says, I will control my thoughts to meditate. Why to control your thoughts? No, I have a lot of thoughts. I was doing meditation, so this mind became crazy and it started thinking of. So once I understand this word has entered into my mind and that has created another variant, I have not to chase the variant, I have to remain as it. Mind is in this passion and Viveka and the Vairagya, how any virus from the world can attack you. You are foolproof. Scientists have not created any vaccine. So once you take it and it leaves the COVID virus outside, maybe 2 feet away. We can do that. This virus of the world. It's not as difficult, but because of the mind has created many variant. What you say? Expectation, attachment, detachment, sadness. No, I'm not able to control my mind. Wandering mind, forgetfulness mind, obsessed mind, sorrow in the suffering. No, I will get out of this sorrow and then I will practice meditation. So many people in the group program, they say, no, no, I had a lot of headache and that's why I did not join your program. Really? Really? I don't say anything. Really? If you have a headache, you must join. If you are anxious, you must join. If you are upset, you must join. No, no, I was very sad and disturbed. That's why I did not join. I know. I know. Very good. Continue. Remain sad. See that. See, that is another problem that this mind feels. And then what happens? We are trying to understand when the word enters into the mind by all the means try to create millions of variant, not to meditate on the real self, not to contemplate on the real self. So we have two vaccine. So the COVID now knows, oh, there is a vaccine, so let me change the track. That is how the mind changes the track. It has 1 million excuses not to meditate on the real self, and it has 1 billion thoughts why not to be carried away by the world. That mind ignores what we should. So the master says that mind ignores what we should desire and works on what we do not want. Did you get it? I'm repeating it again. This mind, suffering from many variant, ignores completely what we should desire and what we should do and works on remain busy what we do not want. I woke up late, but taking care of the beard is more important than meditation because I woke up late. I give you, let me throw an example on myself. Come on. Come on. Is this your excuse? We spent hours together on unnecessary things not required. And what is required, we forget. So, with the moment you forget, the mind now is full of expectation from the world. It has already created a link. Because what I don't want to do, what I should not do, it starts doing it. So action is already there. So action has an enjoyer inside. And that enjoyer is created by the word present in my mind, not outside. Do you see? And we don't realize that no one can fulfill my expectation in the world. But I still do it. I still do it. So when we do that, another variant, all are related to these three diseases: attachment, detachment, sorrow, suffering, and the delusion. Now see what happens. When my mind do not work or pay attention to what is essential, it picks up the non-essential things. Another variant. Now my center of my life is the world, not me. That is why we do not continue to live into the state of meditation. What do you mean? Should I stop living my life if the center is not the world? I'm not saying that. You are moving to another variant. Don't do that. Hold on. Should we stop loving my honey and another variant? You are discovering the eternal love. You are here to express that love, peace, and happiness to the entire world, not to hold on. So, when the center of my life is the world, three variants are main, and then you have hundreds of variants. One variant gives rise to another variant, third variant. Then what happens? The mind is always expecting a response. Whether it is husband, wife, business, money, driving on the highway. What the hell? This is red light. I want to reach early. I want response. Very subtle. Now we don't know too much about Omicron. So that Omicron virus has entered into the mind. We don't realize. No, after all, I have to reach early and my car did not work. Center is the word. When we do not get an expected response from the world, from the people, place, time, location, gadgets, gone. Mind lives with that. So, what happens? The mind has already made a habit. It's an habitual response, it is an instinctive response, it is an impulsive response. I have a hunger for love from others, hunger for love, for respect. I don't want to see that love and the knowledge is within me because the center is outside. Think in this way. Center is outside. What is outside? Outside is the world. Where the world is living, it is living in my mind. The world does not chase me. I allowed the entry. I allowed the entry. How I allowed the entry? In ignorance. For the sake of pleasure and peace and happiness and love. Physically, that's another, sometimes I remember this. Physically, when I say I see you physically. But I also see you mentally. Check it. I see you Say I don't see you physically, and I say there is a Taurus, so I already see it mentally.
Because before I see you physically,
Yes, yes, yes.
memory.
Yeah. So physical has limitation, but I still see you mentally because of the memory. The relationship built by the relationship built between the physical me and the mental me is known as the God. I'm giving you another way to understand. When you say Om Namah Shivaya, image is physical. And then you have a previous knowledge that you gain that Shiva is a perfect God full of Satchidanand living in my heart. Not very difficult for you to understand. For everything, I know Taurus, so I'm not seeing Taurus. I know David, yes. So the very knowledge presence is there in the mind. And when I see physically, then I see physically, I see mentally. But the relationship between the two is settled, is created by the power which is known as God. So we have Shiva, we have Krishna, we have Buddha.
Oh, really? Didn't get it. So, physical, it's understandable. The mental is understandable. It's like image.
But how they can live together? Because at the mental level, there is no, even in deep sleep, I keep that memory, I keep that knowledge of you that lives, and it only happens in the presence of the consciousness.
Yes, my consciousness, my it's consciousness
Go ahead.
connect everything. Only because consciousness I can see the Shiva and you and
So the consciousness that connects the physical with the mental me is God. So because my mind is totally obsessed and suffering from many variants of this virus, I have to introduce this Shiva, Krishna, or the Buddha, or whosoever, or Jesus, whosoever.
but when I chant mantra or imaginate the image of Shiva, so I trying to connect to
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
peace, love,
yeah.
and
Yes,
other
yes,
characteristic of this
yeah.
image.
Because in the presence of the world with many variants of the virus in the mind, you are going into another direction. That is not the center of your life. Your center of the life is Shiva. I love you, Shiva. Please, please show me. Please, I love you. Because Shiva will never say I hate you. The wife can say it. Or the husband can say it. Shiva will never say, Krishna will never say, Buddha will never say, Jesus will never say. So, because in the presence of many variants of this virus present in the mind, our life, the world has become a center of our life. I want to live separate from it. I don't want to fight with the mind. So Namah Shivaya. Intellect, knowledge, awareness. Om Namah Shivaya. When? 24/7. When you wake up, when you are going to the office, when you are driving your car. So this physical image and the mental image should merge together in the presence of the consciousness that will start throwing away this virus completely. That is the source of karma yoga, which takes us to bhakti yoga, love. Now love is inside, love is Shiva. No one can give me love 24/7.
But love, it means that there is no any space between you and object.
In the beginning, we have to do with the space because the mind is suffering. Until the injection is done and it goes into the bloodstream, then it becomes one. So wait, wait, wait. First level of love, that there is something in front of me. Let my mind say, I love you. And gradually, that whom I love is already inside me, not like my honey, which will always remain outside. First level is this. Second level, you see almost, that as if you become Shiva, Shiva becomes you. Third level, only Shiva. Or only you. Only you is real self. Only Shiva, you have reached to the highest level of Bhakti Yoga. One thing more, very important. When Ramakrishna says that I see the Kali in front of me, I talk to the Kali. He doesn't talk to the image. Now, image is not there. It is only consciousness representing that Kali. Where is Kali? No, I see in front of here. That needs to be understood. So we have to live in great delusion. Oh, the Kali image appeared, or Durga appeared, or Shiva appears. Consciousness creating a mental shape which is invisible through my physical eyes. It represents power, it represents knowledge, it represents love. No, Kali is here. She loves me. Guru Dev is here. He loves me. So understand, so that your delusion will be. So from there, we come down. Okay, if that is so, it means you don't need Shiva. No, in the beginning you need it. Then where we reach? No, you understand. Do you love yourself? Yes, I love myself. Love is your nature. That love is Shiva. You don't know now. So start loving Shiva. Do you love to survive? Yes, I love to survive. So it means I am existence. Do you love peace? Yes, peace is your essential nature. But at present, the world has entered into you, created many variants of virus. You have to do it step by step. Does it mean Shiva does not exist? No, it exists. No, I am real self. So, do I not exist physically? Yes, I exist. So, there are a lot of confusion. So, once that confusion are gone, we know. We know God is here and now. Now, see what happens. At this moment, do you love yourself? Non-verbal answer says yes. The moment the non-verbal answer comes to your mind, yes, ego disappears. At that moment, for a brief moment, can I extend that period? Because I don't extend that period, the mind with the ego comes with many variants, and then we forget, we fall into unconsciousness and attachment, detachment, they takes over. Next moment, the world is thinking to ban South Africa. Why? Because Omicron virus is originated from there. So we have to ban for some time. Then that banning is the preparation of meditation. Buddha says the entire journey is to straighten the mind. It is crooked, it is distorted, it is affected by many variants of attachment, detachment, sorrow, suffering. Sorrow, suffering does not exist. It exists only because I created a world of my own. I received the world, I accepted it, then I created my own world, and that world is full of attachment, detachment. Otherwise, there is no sorrow, suffering, there is no delusion, there is no attachment. You spend $50 on this shirt and then check, is the shirt attached to you? It is not, but I am attached. Then what I say, I love the shirt. And one day you put into the laundry, it is already gone, and you say, what happened? Then I suffer, shirt does not suffer. But what I feel that I am suffering because my center of my life is the world I create. So, because the center of my life is the world that I created, Buddha says, you have the mind is not straight. You have to straighten the mind. So, this is what by those thinking, by those contemplation, we straighten the mind. Yes, Ashtavakra. So Ashtavakra did not explain all the details as it is explained in the Gita and other Upanishads. Did you understand you are the center? You have made yourself as the world is the center for you in life? Yes. World is gone? Yes, it is gone. What is left? Consciousness. Only consciousness. So that consciousness manifests as Viveka. You have to do nothing. It's the knowledge. Consciousness. Without knowledge, there cannot be consciousness. Without consciousness, there cannot be knowledge. So that knowledge expresses in the form of viveka in the mind. All the viruses are gone. They start running outside. And in the presence of dispassion, it is gone. Then what do you see? Then I see that Sat. We say Sat Chit Anand. So we say that Sat is present everywhere. That Sat is existence. We already have a Chit. And when the Sat and Chit is there, we find there is Ananda also. So we have realized real self here and now without doing it. Because of millions of variants, the mind returns to these variants and we forget it. It is here and now. You have just experienced it. You know it. That's Satchitananda. So, because we cannot live into that state all the time, so then we have to understand what causes those multiple variants, purity and the impurity of the mind, then the mantra, then the Shiva, and then the Krishna. And that is how the journey the teacher picks up at what level the seeker is, or based on the teaching of a particular text. He follows the text. He explores. He helps the seeker to understand that knowledge, should have an understanding, followed by the practice. The time comes.